there's an ongoing war within the Trump administration regarding the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine. It's a drug that lupus patients take. It's a drug that malaria patients take. There isn't a lot of scientific data indicating that it's effective for treating individuals with COVID-19, but Trump keeps claiming that it is effective and that it's supposedly approved by the FDA for use for treatment for COVID-19. That is another lie that Donald Trump is saying. Well, now we're finding that Anthony Fauci has to deal with the likes of Peter Navarro within Trump's administration. Now, if you don't know who Peter Navarro is, just understand that he is not a medical expert. He is not a doctor, but he is Donald Trump's trade advisor. And so apparently he blew up on Anthony Fauci in the Situation Room, according to reporting from CNN. There was a heated disagreement in the Situation Room over the efficacy of the anti-malaria drug, hydroxychloroquine, as President Trump's top trade advisor, Peter Navarro, feuded with other officials over the drug's unproven effectiveness to treat coronavirus. In fact, according to CNN's reporting, Navarro lashed out at Dr. Anthony Fauci, one of the advisors who had urged caution about the drug. And apparently Navarro showed up with paperwork indicating that the drug is effective, but the paperwork that he showed up with was not scientific data. And so Fauci basically told him, like, yo, homeboy, like, I like your papers and everything, but it doesn't mean anything because they're not scientific studies. It's not scientific data. We can't speak to the efficacy of this drug to treat coronavirus because of that reason. Now, Navarro was interviewed by John Berman on CNN over the weekend, and things got a little fiery. Let's take a look.
Doctors disagree about things all the time. My qualifications in terms of looking at the science is that I'm a social scientist. I have a PhD, and I understand how to read statistical studies, whether it's in medicine, the law, economics, or whatever.
I'm sorry, that doesn't qualify you to treat patients. You know it doesn't qualify you to treat patients.
John. All I'm asking for you to understand, John, is that right in your city, in the New York Health and Hospital System, virtually every patient getting COVID is presenting with COVID-19 symptoms is given hydroxy. Now, you talk to Mitch Katz, talk to William Grace, and I simply present that. And I think this is important for your viewers.
Okay.
What?
So I want to congratulate all the folks out there that have a Bachelor of Science, because you're just became scientists.
We're all doctors.
So congrats. Now, look, I'm actually going to defend Navarro a tiny bit before I go back to kicking his ass. So you don't need, to be fair to him, he didn't ask to treat patients. So when John Berman says, because you have a PhD doesn't mean you can treat patients, which, by the way, you might want to tell Whoopi Goldberg about Dr. Jill Biden. Anyway, but just keeping it real, that also happened. But Navarro is saying, look, I can analyze the studies just as well as anyone, and that's true. I can analyze a study. I don't need to be a doctor to analyze the study. Having said that, he apparently did not do a very good job of analyzing the study, because he plops down all these papers on the desk, but the papers aren't scientific studies, so it doesn't matter. It reminds me of the old days when Rush Limbaugh on the radio would just like snap a piece of paper in front of the microphone and say, I have a fax, ladies and gentlemen. I have a fax. Okay.
Right.
And I don't know what that, like, your mom could have faxed you the menu for, lunch. I don't know what the hell. That would be a weird thing to fax too. But anyway, just because you have papers doesn't mean a goddamn thing. So who's right between Fauci and Navarro on the science? Is this an open question? Of course, Fauci. Clownorama's trying to make Trump happy over here, because Trump, for whatever reason, wants to push the drug. Navarro is a hatchet man for Trump. So basically, he was sent in there, it looks like to me, this is my analysis, to try to intimidate Fauci and everyone else in the room. If you don't push what Trump is pushing, I'm going to push you around. He's going to send a thug like me to regulate.
No, I mean, it's ridiculous. And no, Navarro doesn't deserve any type of defense, because referencing his education, he's trying to make himself out to be some sort of authoritative figure when it comes to promoting this drug for use that it's not meant for, right? So I think that it's, especially when it comes to life and death situations and when it comes to potentially taking certain drugs for an illness or this particular virus, clarity and consistency is important. And what Navarro is doing is he's helping Donald Trump in muddying the waters when it comes to an incredibly dangerous drug that, again, is not approved for treating COVID-19. Now, I want a good treatment for it more than anyone, just as much as anyone, right? But what we don't want to do is encourage people to use this drug off-label to treat something when there isn't enough scientific data indicating that it could actually treat it without lethal side effects. With that said, though, I do want to go to the next clip because the interview just continued getting pretty fiery.
I mean, when I look at a study, just this latest one, I read it and from Wuhan, and there's a control group where 80% do well Peter. And only 50% don't. I mean, you could be a plumber and read that and come to the same conclusion, John.
Peter,
I don't know why you're so hard about this.
I'm not.
Would you take it? Would you take it if you got sick?
Would I take it if I got sick?
Yeah. Would you take it, knowing what you know now?
No, I would listen to my doctor about whether or not I should take it if I got sick. I would consult my doctor. I would not consult someone involved with trade policy. I would not consult with someone with trade policy, Peter.
I agree.
And my question, do you want a doctor? Do you want a medical doctor, an internist? Do you want an internist striking trade deals with Asian countries? Well, no, but that's my point.
But you're setting up a false narrative
I'm not.
here.
I swear to God, I'm not. You had a debate inside the Situation Room with the nation's top infectious disease doctor, the man who was in charge, to a certain extent, of the nation's medical response to this. And all he said, he wants this to work. Everyone wants this to work. All he has said is, let's let the testing and the science decide. What you seem to be saying is, I've read a study out of Wuhan, and I've decided.
That's so unfair, John.
I don't think that it is unfair. I think John Berman actually handled that interview perfectly and had the right pushback to Navarro's misinformation. Yeah.
For the folks who are used to normal news, they were like, I don't get it. You guys are really backing John Berman here. And I've heard you guys criticize him before. Yeah, that's because he was wrong before and he's right about this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how non-biased people work. So no, that was a great follow-up. That was exactly the right question. And Navarro had no good answer other than, oh, boo-hoo, me, you're being unfair. No, he described it exactly as it was. So look, Navarro is very unlikely to go into that task force meeting, which, by the way, he's not part of the task force. So he got put into that room for whatever reason at some point. And he's unlikely to go in there rogue. My guess is somebody sent him in there to yell at Fauci and others to send a message. Because what the hell's the trade advisor in that room for in the first place? And if he is, it should be regarding trade. And for him to bully the scientists and the doctors in the room, that means very likely he was sent in to bully them. So for God's sake, again, if there's a single good reporter in the country, follow the money. Follow the money. There's something unnaturally fishy about how much Trump and his thugs are hyping this one particular medicine that is not FDA approved, and that people should not be taking without consulting with their doctors.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.